I cannot wait to come on to one of these podcast episodes and say, okay, you guys, this is what I'm going to work towards. I can't wait. I can't wait to work my butt off. Like I'm really ready for that. But I have to keep waiting and I have to keep being patient, and that's okay. That's part of life. That's an unfortunate part of this expensive hobby that we chose to dedicate our lives to, is that sometimes you have to wait to get your personal life and your financial life in order before you can pursue the horse dream. Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach.
Okay, so thank you for coming back for another subscriber-only episode. We are going to be updating you about Lauren and I's goals for 2025. If we've been putting in the work, if we've not been putting in the work. And I think this episode is going to be a lot about how to have grace for yourself and how to expect yourself to show up, but also be okay if there's external things going on in your life that are preventing you from showing up 100%. And so I want to talk about how showing up to your 100% capability looks different day by day, week by week. So we're going to start with Lauren first. So Lauren recently moved. Lauren's been trying to figure out what she even, wants to do at the moment relating to goals, what her schedule is going to be like. There's a lot going on for Miss Lauren. So Lauren, give us an update.
Absolutely. So where we left off last month was a tough one, right? And I appreciate those of you who reached out and, were there in support through everything that I was going through, because it was tough. And it was nice to be able to share with all of you and let it be received but not judged. So thank you all so much for that. And thank you, Ellie, too, for being there through a lot of this, because there was a lot that just was going on and it's still going on. Would I say that it is all sunshine and butterflies now? No, but we have made a lot of progress towards the goals that I had set out to before. So the things that I was talking about doing that would get me closer to, like, I guess my goal is to be closer to being excited to ride and show and be able to be financially ready to ride and show and do all of the things again, right? And to be the physically fit person that I was a year ago. Because realistically, I look back a year ago and I was very, very happy with the things that I could pick up and put down and the way that my clothes fit and all that stuff. So let's start with that one, because that's a very kind of tangible thing that we can talk about. Is I had said that I wanted to work out, what did I say, 4 or 5 times a week?
Yeah.
So I did 3. I did 3 times a week. Yes. So I was really excited with that, of being in the weight room. I ended up going ahead and just getting a personal trainer here in town to be able to hold me accountable, because I didn't know if I could show up for myself. So if I was paying someone that said, you have to be here at a certain time, I knew I was going to do it, because as we talked about before, like, a big thing is getting the finances in order. Well, if I'm putting money on the line, I'm going to be there, right? And so that was really great also, because then I had somebody to be there, because a lot of the things that I was worried about doing myself, also aside from the fact that I just wasn't in a place where I wanted to show up for myself, was that because I had taken so much time off and because I had injured myself, I was afraid to push anything, because I thought I was just going to get hurt or that I couldn't do it. And so that has been really fun. So I stuck to working out 3 times a week in the weight room. Everything that we did was so different than anything that I had done before. Think about like what you would do for a golf move. Well, we did that with different bands and stuff. But my favorite thing that this person told me was he watched me and he's like, okay, yeah, you do this like a golf swing and you do this. And he looks at me and goes, and I can tell that you're not very good at golf. That was pretty entertaining. And it was also nice just to have like a little bit of that lighthearted interaction, which Ellie and I had a lot when we were doing the online training. And I'm so excited to be able to get back to that. But I needed to be able to show up in person somewhere and have the just to be somewhere. And so that was really, I think, good. So that has gone well.
I want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So sometimes virtual training is great, and sometimes it's just not. And sometimes when you're in a season of life where you feel like you need a in-person community to push you through to the next level in your personal life, I think that sometimes that can be more appropriate than the virtual training. The virtual training can feel kind of isolating, and especially, for you and I, obviously the point would be to mainly talk about, personal training things, but there's always going to be, life things mixed in, and we're probably going to talk about the podcast. Like, I can understand why you would want that in-person connection at this point in time instead of the virtual training. Like, that makes sense to me. And I've had clients need that in the past as well. And that's okay. Like, the virtual training is not for everybody 100% of the time.
Absolutely. And I think that it was good for me to go and do this for that community aspect, like you said, right? Because there's other people that I would see at the gym, because I had gotten a little bit just kind of like introverted, where I do everything on the computer. I do everything with just horses. I don't really see people. Like, it's just one, one, one. And so it's nice too to, in a way, also to show up at a place where nobody knows you and you can just be like, hey, how's it going? It's very superficial, it's light, and you go home. So I think for this season, that was 100% necessary. And like I said, I'm really excited because I love, as I've said through different podcasts, like the way that you and I work out, but mentally, I needed just to be in person and have to show up somewhere, have to stick to a time schedule, because I have taken advantage a little bit of our relationship sometimes and been like, I don't really feel like it. Let's just do yoga today. Or I don't really feel like it. Let's push it back. Or I don't really feel like it. But this person doesn't know me from Adam. And they're not going to say, well, if you don't feel like it, Lauren, you don't have to do it today. Which you, because you've known so much of my story, have had so much grace for me, which I appreciate. But I knew right now I needed no grace. I needed somebody to say, I don't know who you are, do it.
And I think that's, it's hard because when we first started working together, you were just a client of mine. Like, that's how our relationship started. And it's a lot easier to hold somebody accountable when you don't know them as well, and when you're not really good friends with them, and when you don't also run a business with them, right? Like, the workouts become just workouts. And that can be kind of a hard line when you start to become really close and like, you know so much about my life and I know so much about your life. And, sometimes then the workouts just become like a chatting session instead of a workout session. So I'm actually really proud of you for recognizing that and being able to say, you know what, like, I love this, but it's not what I need right now. And I'm actually really proud of you for that, because something that has been historically challenging for you in the past is people pleasing. And I could see how in the past you would have said, oh, but like, what if that hurts Ellie's feelings? Like, I need to hold myself back because what will Ellie think about it? So I'm actually really proud of you for saying, nope, this is what I need, and I'm going to do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So that's been really great for like gym stuff. And then when I didn't go to the gym, I made sure that even on the days I did go to the gym, but I tried to get about 12 to 13,000 steps a day.
Girl.
So I did a lot of walking my dog. And then I've reconnected with some friends back in my hometown who really enjoy hiking. So one weekend I went hiking, and then I went and saw my cousin, and she likes wake surfing, which I've never done. But I was like, this seems like a great physical thing that is not only fun, but is going to challenge me. And so I did wake surfing, and that was super fun. And then just a lot of kind of more outdoorsy things that weren't super strenuous, but it was getting my body out, moving and active and stuff. So I was really happy with the level of physicality that I had this month. I made a lot of gains in the gym as well, so that was really exciting. And like this person, when I met him for the first time, I was like, oh, I have this bad and I have that bad and my back hurts and my hip hurts and my leg and my shoulder. And he's like, oh my gosh, you sound like a wreck. And then we started working out and he goes, you're really not that bad. And then we ended up going so much farther than he expected from day one because in my mind, I thought I was so broken. But he's like, your body's okay. Go. It's okay.
Yeah.
And that was kind of nice. I think I needed that too on a mental deal, no matter whether it would have been from you or for him or for someone to tell me like, you're not as broken physically as you think you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that I want to point out, I hope that everybody was listening really intently to what Lauren was just talking about, because I want to point something out. Lauren is improving her relationship with exercise, and that is why she is starting to see the results again. Last year, like from December to, I don't know, let's say July, you did not have a good relationship with exercise.
No.
And you were using it as more of a punishment than building yourself towards something, working towards something. And this is what healing your relationship with exercise looks like. It looks like going and doing things that fuel your soul that also are moving your body. So going and hiking with friends, going and wake surfing with friends, trying something new, going and getting out of your comfort zone and going out to an actual gym instead of working out at home, because it can be very self-isolating working out at home sometimes. That is very true. And that's why I do most of my workouts with my husband when I do work out at home, or I have my cats in my room with me. Like if you're just working out by yourself, it can be kind of sad, kind of lonely. And some people like that and thrive in that, and some people don't. And I think it kind of depends more on what season of life you're in than the actual type of person that you are. So Lauren, I'm actually really proud of you and I'm really happy for you.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
Thanks. Yeah. So that was a great month. And I stuck to the no drinking. I minimized my sugar and I ate good probably 85% of the time. Like, of course,
Atta
you
girl.
still have to live a little, but like,
Oh yeah.
I was pretty proud of that. The only thing I will say is, okay, so my physicality improved. My diet was more consistent. Did that scale really move? Like maybe 1 pound. And that was a little disappointing. I would say I could maybe tell a difference slightly in my clothing, but I, I was hoping for a little more. I guess we'll put it that way.
Have you ever heard the term newbie gains?
Uh, no, tell us more.
So when you are new to fitness and you have not worked out before, your body is not used to it, you actually tend to progress very, very quickly. Because usually to progress, you need to build a strong base, right? You need mobility, you need stability, and then you need muscular strength to be able to hold you in those mobile, stable positions. Okay. Once you've built that strong base, then that's when you can start working on fat loss and muscle growth and strength and all those sorts of things. But you have to have that strong base first. And that base can come pretty quickly if you're consistent. And then it's really easy to put on strength once you've built that base. Okay. But when you have been working out for years and you're pretty fit, but even if you've taken some time off, your body still holds on to a lot of the work that you've done in the past. Like, I don't care if Lauren took 5 years off, she would still be further ahead mentally than somebody who had never worked out before. Like your body, it's the same, you don't forget how to ride a bike. You don't forget how to ride a horse. You might not be putting in the practice every day, so your skills might not be progressing. They might regress a little bit, but they don't completely go away. And what Lauren is experiencing is the fact that she already has a fairly strong base. Even if she hasn't been working on it a whole ton, it's still there. And she's stronger than she thinks she is. And she, like her personal trainer is pointing out, right? And like she's not as bad off as she thinks she is. And it's hard to progress. Like progress is very slow when you're already strong, when you're already stable, when you're already mobile. It is very, very slow. It can feel stagnant at times. Like the scale hasn't moved in months. You haven't picked up a heavier dumbbell in months. You haven't gained any more mobility for months. And that's why I always say that working out is more challenging mentally than it is physically. because then people go down the rabbit hole of, well, I'm putting in all this work and I'm not even seeing any results. Why am I doing this? And the truth is that working out is for your health. It's not just about creating a goal, achieving that goal, and moving on to that next goal. Yes, that is an important part of fitness. At the end of the day, you work out to feel good and to make you and to have your body perform for you as you age. That is why exercise was really invented in the first place, is to make you feel good and to make you live longer and to make those days that you do live higher quality. And that true at the end of the day, that's what fitness is for. And so it can be really hard when all of a sudden you stop kind of making progress, but you have to remember that if you want to at least keep the progress you built, you have to keep practicing it. Your progress will go away if you stop working out. So that it's fitness is hard mentally.
It is. And that's why I think if we circle back to the doing it and having a good relationship with it, that's where that comes into play, because I've definitely been doing the fitness both in the gym and outside of it for fun and for my own personal, like, hey, look, I'm going to challenge myself, not for an aesthetic, but for a like, can I push myself a little bit more? Or can I do this move that I couldn't do last week? And just being able to kind of be a little bit of a game instead of a, oh my gosh, if I don't hit this exact weight, or if I don't both on the scale personally and a weight on a dumbbell, then I'm a loser. It's like, no, let's just keep playing with it. See what happens. Can I do one more rep? Can I do a rep 1 second longer? Can I hold it at the end? Can I do a descending pull-up just a little bit slower, right? Like just kind of things to have fun and challenge myself, rather than just, okay, I have to do X, Y, and Z. Otherwise, this is a failure.
You're so hard on yourself.
I know. But you know what? I had fun this month, so that was exciting.
So do you remember, it was last December, I think, we recorded an episode about what it takes to become a world champion.
Yeah.
And all the sacrifices that it takes to get there.
Yeah.
This is one of those sacrifices, is that for you to achieve a world champion, not everybody, but for you specifically, it took being really hard on yourself and being really disciplined and not letting excuses show up. And unfortunately for you, that's how you need to be your best. And so I think that you have to realize that you can't be your best 100% of the time. Otherwise, you get burnt out. And that's really, really hard for people like you and me, the type A personalities who always want more. We don't like to take a step back and smell the roses. We want to keep going. And that, I think, is why you've been struggling so much for the past couple of years, is you achieved your goal. And it's kind of like, well, now what? I did the thing. Do I just keep killing myself trying to work so hard to do it again? Like, what do I do?
Absolutely.
So honestly, I think that that's why you've been struggling so much.
Well, and I think this would be, I am going to have to find some science behind this to bring you guys our next science-backed episode. But I saw this Instagram reel, and it was only 30 seconds. So take from that what you want. But I want to do a deeper dive into it, because it talks about how a lot of the kind of like grind mentality and quote unquote personal success and business success models, they're all about going all in 24/7 and having this like really strict routine that you basically kill yourself through. And if you take a step back, most of these are experienced by men, written for men, and they do not have the hormonal fluctuations that we do as women. They do not have the ups and downs that we need to experience and to kind of respect a little bit more. They're able to do that grind 24/7 for an extended period of time. And I think I took a lot of that mentality of like, I need to grind 24/7 for an extended period of time, because I listened to the David Goggins, I listened to the Cameron Haynes, I listened to, the go hard or go home mentality, which I loved and thrived, and that is what helped me to win. But sustainability wise, I don't know that it is sustainable. And I think that is a big reason too why I've burned out. And I'd really
It wasn't
like
sustainable for you.
Correct. And so I'd really like to do some research into that to see like, okay, well, what would be a sustainable thing, and what seasons and what cycles are good to incorporate to make sure that we do go hard at the right times to achieve our goals, but then we still allow that rest period to be able to recharge and then go again with a renewed kind of excitement and energy.
I'd actually like to dive into that more. I actually have been thinking about doing this for a while. I don't know much about it. It's not something that I was taught when I got certified as a personal trainer, which, obviously the curriculum was created by men. And I'm not somebody who, screw the patriarchy, empower women. Like, that's not necessarily my mentality about a lot of things. But I do think that as women, our bodies do change, our hormones do change, and our strength levels change as we go through our period cycle. And I would actually love to bring on a professional like fitness trainer who specializes in working with women and changing their workouts throughout their cycle. Because like obviously I know that like as we get towards certain stages in our cycle, we're not quite as strong. And so I would love to bring somebody on to dive deeper into that. I think that that would be really, really interesting.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear what kind of episodes we come up with to be able to talk about that too, because it does affect us, and then how to be able to kind of work through that during our horse show season. So can't wait. Thank you for sharing that.
That's a good point too, is what do you do when you're on your period at a big horse show? Like that, ugh. I don't know. I do know that you're supposed to eat more red meat, get more iron when you're on your period. So we actually should do a whole episode about menstrual cycles. That's a good idea.
Absolutely. I know the emotional side could be a
Oh
whole
my
episode
god.
in and of itself, because the week before for me is real Debbie Downer of I'm no good. And that takes a lot of mental
So
strength to get over.
I mean, I feel like you know me fairly well. I am not. I would not consider myself a very emotional person.
No.
I don't cry very often. I don't like. I'm usually pretty level, right? Like
Yes.
if our hormones and our mood swings from 0 to 100, I'm usually somewhere between like 40 to 80. Like that's closer to my range. I don't get above 80 very often. I don't get below 40 very often. Like I'm usually pretty much in the center.
Mhm.
And I think I I always think that, and then my husband will be like, "Is your period about to start?" And I'm like, "What do you?" Even my brother-in-law, my husband's brother. So I am like clockwork. My first day of my period is usually around the first day of the month. And we have like movie nights, like we hang out with our siblings a lot. And my brother-in-law will be like, "Well, it's around the first. You're gonna be moody. I'm not gonna come over." And I'm like,
Oh,
whatever. So maybe I'm a little bit more emotional than I think that I am. But overall, I don't really feel like I'm affected by like my hormones mentally a whole lot. Like I'm usually pretty much the same. I'm like the old steady Eddie Gilding
I
for the
do
most
agree with
part,
that.
I
Yeah,
think.
I think so too. I think they're being
Look,
a little
you're
harsh.
more of a hormonal mare that needs to be on Regimate, but
Maybe just a wee bit. But
hey,
that
but
to say,
maybe that's why you're a world champion and I'm not. You've got higher highs, but man, you've got lower lows too.
I got if I was a horse, I'd be the one that you say it's a little spicy, but we need that fire to get that plus
Oh my
3.
god. Oh my god. You're Dixie. You're the hell bitch.
I love her. Which she's gonna be having a baby next year. That's very exciting for
Oh
everybody
my
who's
god.
listening. So that'll be a really fun goal to be able to kind of play with and develop that one. That'll be a very, very long-term goal, but we're gonna have fun with it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to talking about your goals. So,
Yes.
how have you been ordering any Ben and Jerry's off of Uber Eats lately?
No, not a single one, which is very
I'm
exciting.
proud of you. So, I think that that really goes to show that your mental health is in a much better state now than it was like 4, 6, 8, 12 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Can you talk about why your mental health is improving? What have you been doing?
Yes. So aside from working out and being more physical, which has made me feel better, not only just feel better with the endorphins afterwards, but feel better about myself, that I knew that I was like putting myself at first and making it a priority. Um, but I have been doing both regular talk therapy and EFT tapping with the guest that we so brilliantly had on, Sarah. She was incredible. We'll have to get her episode number and put it in the notes down here because when we interviewed her, I was just so drawn in and intrigued and said, I think this is what I need because it, with the tapping, it addresses more of the nervous system, which my nervous system right now is in super heavy fight or flight kind of symptoms. And I had already been doing the talk therapy, which has been helpful in the sense of finding goals and doing stuff. And what's also frustrating, I'm going to have this a little bit like of a side note real quick before I get more into it, is when I go to a horse show and set my goals for a horse show and can walk into the pattern, none of these things that we are going to be talking about of what I've kind of working through with these professionals affect me. And that is so both brilliant and beautiful. And I'm like, all the things that we talk about doing to be a higher performer in the arena, to show up and to be present and to do the visualizations and to have the goals with my horse, all of those I can do brilliantly. And I am so thankful and proud of myself for that. Like, you know, all these things that we're going to talk about of what I've worked on, I've been going through it at all these horse shows, but I can step into the pen and they all fall away. But I needed help for the rest of the time because in the arena was not a problem for me. Outside of the arena, that's when I really was struggling. And so when we were talking to Sarah, she was talking about the nervous system and I'd been having a lot of anxiety, which I thought it was normal to feel your chest be tight every single day when you're not riding a horse. And I think I had said that to you and you said that's not normal.
Yeah.
Um, but I just was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So then I finally decided to talk to a therapist and it got a little bit out of my head, which was good, but I needed a lot of help with just, I think, calming the nervous system down, which what I was feeding myself before was not being a positive contributor. What I was doing physically was not being a positive contributor. So I think there's like a holistic approach that needs to happen. But being able to tap through these points and through these memories and through these emotions has been one of the most helpful things that I have done. Um, it was so cool because what I have this thing called a Whoop band now, and it's like basically an Apple Watch, but it's a fitness health tracker, but specifically for only health like analytics. And one of the things that it really focuses on is your stress. And that is measured by heart rate variability and your resting heart rate or whatever your heart rate is in that moment. And it somehow computes those two numbers and then comes up with like a stress level. And it's so amazing to be able to see that when I am doing my tapping session and before, that my stress level is either medium or high. And that's just kind of like where I've been kind of functioning at. And then immediately after that session, it'll drop down to low and it'll stay there for several hours, sometimes to the next day. But then where I'm still struggling a little is then once another stressful situation happens, it gets kicked right back into high gear. And I stay at that medium high until we have another tapping session. And I just think that it's incredible how your nervous system and processing the emotions can have such an effect on just your daily existence. Like, I know that it gives me more energy. It allows me to show up better for people, allows me to show up better for myself. And I'm able to be excited about things. Whereas, before I had to tell myself I needed to be excited. And that was kind of an interesting place to be because I used to be the person who could walk into any place and this is going to sound a little braggadocious, but I felt like I was the person who people would say, you light up a room. And
You do. You have that energy to you. You just do. There's a certain name for it. I don't know what it is, but you are, you have like a high frequency. about
Thank
you.
you.
People are attracted to you, not necessarily because, I mean, obviously you're beautiful, but that's not necessarily why. It's the energy that you give off. You make
Thank
people
you.
feel safe. You make people feel secure. You make people feel excited to be around you.
Thank you. And I would say the last few months that light's been completely turned off. Like I walk
It
into a
hasn't been
room.
turned off. It's just dim.
I would walk
Don't be
into a room.
dramatic.
And I don't even make eye contact with people because I'm like, please don't feel this frequency. Da, da, da. Like, but I will say, like, after doing the tapping, I'm like, okay, yeah, I want to show up for people and I want to make people feel better about themselves. And it was just really nice to get those feelings back and say, okay, that person is still in here, even though we went through a very, okay, dim, as Ellie said, dim phase, not dark phase. Um,
Dim.
uh, I can't say enough good things about that. So I'm really excited. And the duration gets longer and longer after each session as to how long or how well I feel. And I think that also these stressors are starting to get less and less like intense spikes. So
Yeah.
I'm going to keep doing it and we're going to keep showing up because I want that full force light again for everyone around me.
Okay, just because I'm curious, have you and Sarah talked about like the oh, I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like electrical stimulation of the brain. It's a type of therapy that's pretty much very similar to what Sarah does, but it's like a physical stimulation.
No, I
You guys talked
haven't,
about that?
but I'll have to
Okay,
ask her.
so remember I sent you a podcast episode like 2 days ago? I
Yeah.
told you that I wanted you to listen to it. Okay, you need to listen to that because it's this, I can't remember her name, but it's this girl who does this specific type of therapy and she talks like it's a really cool episode and I'm actually going to link it in the notes of this episode. So I'm going to link Sarah, the episode that we did with Sarah, and this episode on another podcast with this other mental health practitioner who uses electrical stimulation for as a therapy, as a nervous system regulation. She actually said that specific word, which that's why it reminded me of Sarah, because Sarah talked about that a lot, like regulating your nervous system.
Yeah.
And her therapy is supposed to be like a hard reset, and you can use it on horses too, not just people. And she talked about something that you and I haven't really dove into before, but something that I've been thinking about you. She talked about how she went through so she was a psychologist, like she's has her doctorate in psychology, and she went through a very, very rough, I think, postpartum stage in her life. I don't know, there was something big that happened and then she got really depressed afterwards, and she needed her own physical therapist to help her out of it. Like, she knew all the things that she needed to be doing, but she couldn't force herself to do them. And this stimulation therapy is actually what helped pull her out of it. But the
Wow.
point that I want to point out is Lauren is a mindset coach, but sometimes it's really hard to give yourself your own advice and be your own coach. So I, again, am proud that you were able to not let your ego get the best of you and say, but I'm a mindset coach. These are some of the things that I help people with, and say, you know what, but I need my own external help to be able to help me. This is bigger than what I can do for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of like I said too about the gym of going into a gym right now
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
they are going to say, no, you're less broken than you think and you can step up and you can do this, right? Because,
Yeah.
we can tell ourselves to do all this. And like I said, with the horses, I was telling myself and we were doing just fine there, but for like regular life, I was like, oh, this is just too much work. I'm just too much. Like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. But to have somebody be like, yeah, you can. You're here for an hour and we got to do it. So let's go. And
Yeah.
it was really, really helpful. So I recommend that too a lot. So I'd say that I'm pretty on track with the goals, very happy with them. And I just want to keep building and see what they evolve into over this next month. I'd really like to, get back on a horse a little bit more and let you guys know how that I'm having fun with and stuff. So how about you, Ellie? How was August for you?
I've had a lot going on. So, last episode, I think I talked about how I am putting myself, like, I'd been really consistent. I've been tracking my calories. I had been working out very, very consistently. And I would say that I've fallen off the railroad tracks, but I would say that my train has slowed down.
Good way.
I have had a lot of personal stuff going on lately, and there's been highs, there's been lows, and I think I talked about how it's really, really hard to get consistent and to start new goals when you have too much going on and too much uncertainty going on in your personal life. And that's just where I feel like I'm at right now. So I have my goals and I have my fitness, but I wouldn't say they're on the front right burner. I would say my front right burner is like the thing that I'm focusing on the most. It's maybe on the front left or maybe even the back right. Like if my fitness and my goals are not the forefront of my focus at the moment. And I can either be upset at myself and not hold grace for that, or I can say, you know what, that's just life. And I know that my goals are that mean enough to me, and I know that I will be able to put my goals on the front right burner again when I can. And I just have to wait for life to calm down a little bit to get a little bit more settled. I will discuss more about this on the next episode. But my husband and I are actually going to be moving next week. And so, like Lauren, it's really, really hard to get consistent with something when you know that things are about to get really crazy and your
Yeah.
environment's about to change. And there's going to be a lot of differences with this move. And I will hold off for explaining more, but I'm really excited about it. And we'll just see the things that are changing then. So I don't really want to, and because of this, like I've been packing a lot, I've been working a ton, I've been just overall preparing for the move, and that has been taking up my extra time. And so I just have not been able to focus on my fitness a whole lot. Now, that being said, I haven't completely stopped working out. I would say instead of getting my upper in once a week, my lower in once a week, my Pilates once a week, my run once a week, my yoga a couple times a week, my physical therapy twice a week, and then walking an hour a day on top of all that. I have not been doing all of that. I would say that I've been lifting weights once or twice a week. I have not been doing much in the way of Pilates. I think I've done it once in the last month. I think I've gone on one run in the last month. But I've been foam rolling, I've been stretching, I've been trying to exercise with my clients a little bit more. Just because that's time that I can exercise. I've still been walking quite as much as I normally have in the past, but I've still been walking a decent amount. And I've been using my walks as kind of a mental release. So I'll just plug in a podcast, go for a nice long walk. And it's kind of a mental reset in the middle of my day. So that has been really nice. There's just also been a lot going on emotionally. Two horses that I know very, very well were put down this last week. So that has been really, really, really difficult. And so I've kind of been struggling with that. There's, like I was talking with Lauren before we hopped on this episode, there's just been a lot going on with the people and the animals in my life. I have a friend whose dog needed to go in for surgery. My cat had to go to the ER. She's okay. And then my other friend's dog is going to be having surgery this week. My one of my family members is going to be needing a minor surgery, but still a surgery. And there's just a lot. There's just a lot going on mentally, and a lot of I would say negative things, not
Mhm.
necessarily a lot of positive things, and that's just been kind of wearing on me a little bit. Even though I like to pretend like I'm not an emotional being, I am.
Yeah.
There's just been a lot going on, and I have not been able to focus on my goals. I haven't been out to the barn to ride nearly as much as I would like to, and part of that is my trainer's schedule. So I do not have a horse at the moment, so I kind of have to rely on when my trainer's in town to be able to go to the barn and take lessons because I don't have a horse that I'm specifically leasing. So I can't really go out to the barn and ride unless my trainer is there to, give me a lesson on one of the horses in the barn. And so she was gone last week, and which actually worked out really well because I needed to get ready to move anyway. So I'm gonna go to the barn tomorrow and on Friday, which I'm really, really excited about. I'm hoping to just have nice, quiet, calm, relaxed rides. Riding is a little bit of a weird spot for me at the moment because I don't really know what I'm working towards. Like, I obviously want to continue getting better and improving my connection to my horse and my strength in the saddle and overall my riding capabilities. So I guess that's a goal that I'm always working towards, but I don't have a show that I'm preparing for. I don't have a show partner that I'm working with at the moment. I'm just a little stagnant in my riding, which is actually fantastic, and I'm actually really grateful for because I don't know how I would have the mental capacity to work towards a goal at the moment. I need to keep ironing out the exciting things in my personal life first. So once that is done, then I will have the capacity to one, continue saving money to be able to work towards those horse goals, but I'll also have the mental capacity to go to the barn more, hopefully find either a show partner or work towards getting a show partner. So horses are just at a bit of an odd stage. And again, like I said a couple minutes ago, I could either be upset at myself about all of this, or I can say, you know what, that's just the way that life is. Like I said, I'm actually very thankful that I don't have a horse that I'm financially responsible for at the moment and that I'm not paying to go down the road to go show because my finances need to be prioritized elsewhere at the moment. So I think that that's okay to have different seasons in your personal life and in your horse life. So I'm in a season right now in my horse life where like I'm riding and I'm working towards things, but I don't really know what those are. But I'm still happy and excited to be out and going to the barn. And I have been in a place before where I wasn't excited to go to the barn because of what was going on in my personal life. And I'm just really thankful that I'm not at that spot. Like, at least my personal life isn't so crazy that I don't even want to go to the barn anymore. So I'm thankful for the place that I am in my life right now, and I'm excited to see where I'm going in the future. And I cannot wait to come on to one of these podcast episodes and say, okay, you guys, this is what I'm going to work towards. I can't wait. I can't wait to work my butt off. Like I'm really ready for that. But I have to keep waiting and I have to keep being patient, and that's okay. That's part of life. That's an unfortunate part of this expensive hobby that we chose to dedicate our lives to is that sometimes you have to wait to get your personal life and your financial life in order before you can pursue the horse dream.
Well, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things, though, about this hobby is you can put it on pause and come back to it. Like
Sure can.
yeah, my grandparents, they're in their early 80s and they show cutting horses still to this day. My grandpa is
Wow.
at a cutting show in Oregon, which he drove 10 hours
Oh,
to by himself. Well, I mean, with my grandma, but like he drove himself, he drove the horses, like he keeps the horses at home and he still kicks butt. And that inspires me that it doesn't matter if you're having a short season right now where you have to take either a break or you can't do it or you're working towards being better in a certain area, they're always going to be there and they will be there to meet you at wherever you can be and wherever you're ready for. You don't have to feel like you're missing out if you can't do it right now.
yeah, 100%. I totally agree. I've actually, but I don't know if I'm actually going to do this right now or not. But something I've been playing around the idea with is going and scribing at horse shows. So I might look into that a little bit more, just because I think that that would be a way to continue learning more about the judging side of horse shows. I am competitive with myself, but I'm not necessarily very competitive with other people and with what the judges think of me. And I think that that is partly because I have not had a consistent show partner that I've worked with for long enough to be able to necessarily worry about those other things. Or that could just be me. I don't know. But I know that at some point, if I have a dream of earning a world title or anything like that, I need to learn more about why judges judge the way that they do and what specifically they're looking for. So that could be a way for me to still be involved and still be working towards my goals and still be going to horse shows but just being on the other side of it. So I'm kind of playing with that idea. We'll see.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's going to be a really fun thing. And I can't wait for you to come back and share what you learn with all of us as well.
That's a good point. I feel like I have to do it now.
Yeah, we're holding
Because
you
I
to
can
it.
come back. Oh my gosh. Because that would actually be really good. It'd be good for me to sit down and say, okay, when I saw the person's body position or confidence looking like this, the judge gave them this score. So that actually would make a good podcast episode. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm going to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I can't wait.
All right. All right. So you guys will hold me accountable. I'll give you guys updates on that sort of thing the next time that we record one of these episodes. And yeah. Anything else, Lauren?
I think that's perfect. I think we got it all.
Okay. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting us. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up-to-date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high-quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.